Hey, what's going on YouTube? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the M50 and why I am switching cameras. So if this is your first time here, I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I do various projects myself, or at least attempt to. If you're returning, welcome back. This is the beginning of a new series. I'm calling it Tech Tuesdays. And I want to do videos on different pieces of tech from more of like an average everyday user. I'm not an expert or technically savvy by any means, but every time I do a purchase, I'm always looking for videos. Like YouTube is my very first place that I go for information. So I like to see what other people are saying about it, learn about how to use it and stuff like that. So YouTube's always my very first stop. But sometimes I can't find videos on some products. Other times the video is just really drawn out, and because it gets really technical, and I don't need to know all that stuff or want to know all that stuff. And you might be in the same boat as me and not want to know about the crazy technical specs. So that's why I wanted to start the Tech Tuesdays. It won't be every Tuesday, but it'll be from time to time, and I'll upload them on Tuesday mornings. So our very first one, we are talking about the M50, the Canon M50. So this guy right here, I've been using for a couple of years now to do a majority of my videos. And if you don't know, it's a mirrorless camera from Canon. It's obviously pretty small, very affordable. It's an excellent camera to start out with, and I'm not knocking it by any means. I've really enjoyed using it. I really like it, but there's some shortcomings in the style of videos that I create and my editing process. So one of the issues is I'm not a professional by any means. I don't know how to get crazy into camera settings, or I don't get crazy with lighting or anything like that. I also don't get crazy in depth with video editing. I use a free program called Shotcut right now because I can't afford a monthly subscription of Adobe Premiere. I know Adobe Premiere can do some amazing things. I just don't have the money for it, and I also don't have the time or energy to put into learning it right at this moment. So I need to just be able to take the footage right out of the camera, splice it together, and upload it. And that's pretty much it. I might do a couple of tweaks here and there, but I don't go into like, I think it's called C-Log for Canon or D-Log for DJI, I believe is what it is. See, I don't know that much about it. It's like I think it's a flatter profile, and it gives you more options when you're color grading and all that stuff. I don't know how to do any of that kind of stuff, so I don't mess with it. So that's why I just want to be able to take the footage straight out of the camera, splice it together, and upload it. I need it to be quick and easy. I don't have a ton of time to be creating videos. So the quicker and more seamless I can make it, the better. So with the Canon M50, some of the problems that I'm having, first of all, the lens options aren't too great as far as like the high-end EF-L glass with Canon. You can get an adapter and stuff like that, but it's like I either spend a whole bunch of money on EF glass to try and get the Canon M50 to work better for me, or I bite the bullet and just upgrade to the R line and the RF lenses, which it seems like that's where Canon's going and is putting all their time and energy into that line. So I didn't want to spend money in getting EF glass if that's the route they're going to go anyway. So might as well just skip it. So with the M50, a lot of times I would get really noisy footage. A lot of times my videos are shot out in my garage, so my garage door is open, so I have a ton of light coming in on one side of it, but on the back end of the garage, it gets kind of, I guess, a little dark, and the M50 would get crazy noisy, even with the ISO not terribly high or trying to control it. The footage would just be really grainy and really noisy. and I didn't like it. And another problem that I've had is I'd film something, and when I'm filming a project. So I'm filming as I'm going through the project. I don't know what the footage looks like until I'm done. So I'm finished with the project, I go look at the footage, and it's out of focus. I don't know why, but I've had entire videos be completely out of focus, or or in sections where it's out of focus. And I can't exactly go back and redo the project, or even want to. So between those two problems, it made me want to upgrade from the Canon M50. Now with the M50, it's an amazing size. So you can get something like this. This is just a selfie stick. I was using it as a tripod because it can extend out, and you can screw in a tripod base to it. So it's actually been really great. Most of the time I'm using this for the GoPro. I can just set it up anywhere and I can move it around. The nice thing with the M50 is that you can stick it on something like this, and it's really easy to vlog with. It's super light. Like, this is really good. Like, this makes me want to keep this camera just because it's so much easier to hold it out like this using this setup. I'm trying some new camera angles and some video techniques to try and keep you guys more engaged and make my videos a little bit more interesting. One of the angles that I'm trying to use is the vlogging angle. And as you'll see in a minute, this camera right here that I'm using now is a beast. And holding it, well, first of all, this arm is not strong enough in order to hold it out there, especially with like this adjustable ball head. It's not strong enough. And second of all, my arm's not strong enough. As you can see, I got dental floss hanging out of my sleeves. So it gets really heavy really fast. So microphone wise, I don't actually use this is the Rode Video Micro, I believe. It's the small one, it's the little one. This is the first microphone that I bought, but I don't use it because I'm going back and forth in front of, like, being in front of the camera to being behind the camera and filming like this and moving it around. And this is a directional microphone, so it only picks up, it doesn't pick up audio very good when you're behind it. So I'd have to take it off, and then I'd have to flip it around to point towards me. And like I said, I need something that's quick and easy to shoot. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. There's a lot of my videos where I feel like it's lacking. You guys might feel the same way, because the content just isn't there, because I get lazy and don't want to shoot different angles. I just want to get the project done. I'm tired. It takes twice as long to complete a project when I'm having to film it at the same time. I don't have anybody helping me with this. It's just me. So this microphone didn't work so well for me. I ended up getting like a lav mic, so that I can just pin it to my shirt and I can move around. I can go in front of the camera, behind the camera, on this other side of the room, and I still got at least okay audio. I'm still trying to get it balanced in this camera so that I know I think the video when I made this adapter plate, the audio ended up actually clipping. So it was just too loud in the camera. So I'm working on like trying to adjust it to find the happy place for it. So I think what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to switch over to this camera right here. You'll be able to see the difference in quality possibly, and I will show you what we are replacing this camera with. Okay, so here is the camera and lens that I decided to go with. This is the Canon EOS R. This is their full frame mirrorless camera. Yeah, I think it is the first full frame mirrorless. They have the RP, the R5, the R6 that have come out since then. I chose to go with the EOS R. The R5 was way more of a camera than I needed. I really wanted to get the R6, but it's just out of my price range, especially if you're not aware right now, I'm not working. I'm in flight school full-time, and I'm trying to get through flight training, and I'm also working on my bachelor's. That's not why I'm not working, it's mostly because of the flight training, but I'm doing that as well. So I just couldn't spend the money on the R6, and I was able to sell some stuff. I sold some of the lenses that I had for the M50, and I've been selling other equipment and stuff like that just so that I could do this, just so that I could get this. So I got the EOS R, and I got the RF 24-70 f2.8L for this camera. So as you can see, this thing's a beast. I mean, it's huge. And in this current setup, it's pretty heavy. And then I actually use it with more equipment on here. I don't have it on here at the moment because I just want to show you the camera, and the stuff that I have on here will be in the next video. I'm going to do an accessories video for this, the products that I have on here and stuff like that. So I wanted to go with this lens. I was able to pick up this lens used in my area for a good deal. I saved a considerable amount of money. I ended up saving, I think, like $600 picking up used in my area. So I wanted the 2.8 instead of, like, because there's the f4 24-105, but I wanted the 2.8 because, like I said, I was having issues with noisy footage in low light areas. So this setup will solve that, or at least help with that problem in two ways. And with the f2.8, which is just a big aperture, it's just, think of it, if you're not, again, I don't want to get too technically savvy. I act like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know that much. The aperture is basically the opening of the lens, how much light it lets in. And so the smaller the number, the bigger the opening. So an f4 is going to be a little bit smaller than f2.8. So the 2.8 is going to be the biggest I can go, but it holds that from 24 all the way to 70. So, like, for example, the lens that I'm shooting on right here, this is the Canon M50, and it's the 15-45, I believe. Yeah, it's a 15-45, and the aperture is 3.5, and then it closes down as you zoom into 45. It closes down to 6.3. So when you're zoomed all the way in, it doesn't let in nearly as much light. Whereas with this lens, when you zoom in, it keeps a constant opening, so it lets in the same amount of light whether you're at 24 or 70. I also like a zoom lens because a lot of times when I'm shooting out in the garage, I'm able to zoom into my truck or something like that, or wherever on a project that I'm working on, and without having to move the camera in my way, so I can zoom in, zoom out, or whatever. Because a nice prime lens would be great because it would make this thing lighter. But the other reason why I think it's going to help with low light is that it's a full frame sensor. So you might have heard of a crop sensor or a full frame sensor. A full frame sensor is basically just it's bigger and it's gonna collect more light. Now, there were some reasons why I chose to go with the EOS R and not the RP. And it kind of comes down to two reasons. And one of them is the battery. The EOS RP has a smaller battery than what the EOS R has. And that's one of the issues that I've had with the M50 is the battery life just isn't that good. I've been able to work around with it. I have multiple batteries for the M50, so it's not the end of the world. And that wouldn't have been a deal breaker for me. But I think one of the big selling points why I wanted the EOS R over the RP was memory card location. It sounds stupid, but with the memory card being in the side here, it's easier for me to get it and take it out so that I can load my videos onto the computer and edit them. And with the RP, they're in the bottom. And I just didn't care for that. Things with the R that I don't care about, it doesn't matter to me. People have complained about this touch bar back here. With the amount of functions that you have, because you have the wheel up here, you have a wheel back here, you have a control ring on the lens, you have the touch bar, you're gonna have redundancies. You just can't, there's not that much stuff to control in the camera. So you're gonna have things controlling multiple things, or you're just not gonna use them at all. I haven't found myself really using the touch bar, but I also don't film that way. I have it on manual aperture and manual frame rate, but then I usually leave the ISO on auto. So I'm really not messing with the settings too much. I also don't have them for photography. This is only for video. I take some pictures here and there, but that's not my primary use. I feel like I should probably start taking some photos, and maybe I have an Instagram that I started a while ago, and I uploaded like maybe 5 pictures. Maybe I should start that again and try to get some use out of this and justify the money that I spent on it. But that's why I switched from the M50 over to the EOS R. Let's get some weights real quick and you'll get an idea, because obviously you can see the size of this. This is just not gonna work. Because like right now, I have this tightened down and I can still move it. And I just don't trust it. It's so thin, and this is such a heavy camera. Not to mention expensive. Yeah, I don't trust it. I feel like it's moving, and this is just not something I trust. I do have something else that I got, and that will be on the next Tech Tuesday, so I'll be able to show you that in the next video. But as this is set up right now, let's go ahead and get a weight. Actually, no, yeah. Let's go ahead and get a weight with just this setup. Okay, we're filming with the M50, and we're going to take the weight of the EOS R with the lens. And you can see that we got 3 pounds, 12.9 ounces, 60.88 ounces, 1,726 grams. All right, now let's get the weight of the Canon M50. 1 pound, 6.4 ounces. So the EOS R with the 24-70 lens is almost 3 times as heavy. And there it is in grams, 635 grams. So I hope that I explained in a clear enough manner why I switched from the Canon M50 over to the EOS R. Again, I'm not a professional or an expert by any means, and my videos are obviously nowhere near the levels of like Peter McKinnon or Matty Hapoya or any of those professional creators. I'm trying, I'm doing my best. There's a lot of people out there that can get really good videos with setups like this, and you probably can too, especially like if you're in a studio and you have lighting all the time. But my type of filming, when I'm doing DIY projects and working around my truck and stuff like that, I just don't have the time and energy to be able to move lights around and set it up in an ideal place. I just need to be like a run and gun. I just need to be able to throw maybe a light on top of the camera and be able to have good quality footage straight out of the camera. If you're in a studio, I'm sure the M50 would do absolutely great. It'd probably do even better if you were to put it on manual focus and not even allow it to autofocus. So I'm not knocking the M50 by any means. I actually really want to keep it as like a backup camera or spare camera, or maybe different angles. It's considerably smaller and lighter, but budget-wise, I probably just can't justify keeping it. I most likely have to sell it in order to recuperate some of the money that I spent on this setup. So I guess that does it for this first Tech Tuesday video on the switch from the Canon M50 to the EOS R. Keep an eye out. We're going to be doing some more Tech Tuesday videos on various types of tech. and hopefully keep it from the perspective of an average everyday user and not so much from an expert point of view and not get too technically savvy. So our next Tech Tuesday, we're going to be doing accessories on the EOS R and some of the stuff that I got for it, just to kind of give you an idea of maybe things that you want to get and try out, or maybe not. Kind of give you a direction to head in. And so I guess I will catch you guys on the next one.